Good evening, everyone. My name is Lambert. I work at the Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital in Zaria. I treat burns patients who have had burns that come to us. And I'm also a burn educator. I educate people about prevention of burns and also prevention of complications on burns. So today we'll be talking about itching. It's one of the most worrying problems that people that have had burns face, usually for about a year or two until probably later in life when it begins to get better. The presentation is just one out of other items that we'll handle today. So I'll be quick and also make it interactive. And at the end, for those who have experiences, I would like one or two persons to share their experiences as it will get to help other survivors. Basically, what we'll be doing today is we'll talk about three major issues around itching. The first is to understand what exactly itching is, especially in burns patients, people who have had burns. We'll also try to find out why exactly people with burns experience this itching and why does it itch so much? Why does it keep happening no matter what we do? The third thing is that we want to know what we can do about it at home and in our various communities. Basically, most of us understand itching as that uncomfortable feeling that just makes you want to scratch. It's not painful, it's just really discomforting and irritating and doesn't let you be yourself. Sometimes you're outside, you're in a meeting, you're at work, and you just have this itch somewhere that you really, really want to scratch. Everybody has it, but it's particularly worse in patients that have had burns. So what we'll try to talk about today, just make you understand that what's happening to you, it's pretty normal when it comes to burns and the things you can do to help you. So basically, as doctors, we call it pruritus, but in simple terms, it's called itching. And what happens is that when there is burns, usually as the burns is healing, the nerves in the body try to send a signal to the brain that there has been an injury and the brain is supposed to feel something. But the problem is that the brain now reads that signal as an itch, and then the body tries to get you to scratch it. Actually, scratching actually feels good, but the reality is that sometimes it can cause more problem and cause more harm than good. So we discuss something called the itch cycle. So usually, this is what happens when wounds are beginning to heal. So those nerves that have been injured, they send a signal to the brain that there is something wrong there, that there are nerve endings that are open. And normally, nerves are supposed to send signals like pain, touch, pressure, temperature, heat or cold. But it doesn't really have a particular definition of what it's sensing. So it just sends it directly to the brain, and what the brain will feel is an itch. And by the time you feel that itch, you now want to scratch. And if you give into the temptation to scratch, you discover that as you scratch, that new skin that is forming over the burn wound begins to break gradually. And then you have more irritation on the skin. And as you scratch, you then discover that more of this signal has come from the nerve, get to the brain, and it continues in this cycle of nuisance that cannot stop. So the more you scratch, the more you keep going around this cycle. So that's exactly what happens during itching. Now, why exactly do burns itch so much? First thing is, as one has gotten burns, the body tries to repair itself. So what it does is that it sends cells, new tissues to the site so that the wound can heal. But the problem is that as new cells and new tissues are coming to the site, they keep irritating the open nerves. And as I told you in the burns, in the nuisance cycle, the nerves keep sending those signals to the brain as itch. And as this healing repeatedly keeps going on, more signals are being sent, and then the itching becomes unbearable. The other reason is that the nerves that were bound to are also trying to grow back. And when they grow back, they try to reconnect to each other. So once they're trying to achieve this reconnection, they begin to send signals to each other. Again, those signals are misinterpreted as itch. So the itching gets worse. The other reason is that when the skin is burnt, normally there are some glands under our skin that are supposed to produce oil, water to lubricate our skin. When the skin gets burnt, those glands so